Good morning, everyone. July 2nd, 2020, and welcome to episode number 42 of the Project 2020 show, otherwise known as the Jackie Robinson episode. It's Thursday, a lot to cover. We have Mike Trout, we have Frank Thomas getting announced today. We're going to touch back on the pre-orders for Dwight Gooden and Roberto Clemente. I'm dropping my numbers for one simple reason. Along with that, we're going to wrap up the three-part mini-series on the market manipulation. It's very obvious who it was. Two different sellers confirmed this person, and when you took a look at their listings, it was clear as day. So I will walk you through that here in a second. So hopefully you picked up your 2 cards yesterday, or you picked up your all 4 cards for the week. Me personally, I have only purchased 2 of the 4 cards. As I've said, I'm not buying every bundle. I'm not doing pre-orders. I'm being selective in my approach here. So I have only purchased the F. Dwight Gooden and the Tyson Beck Jackie Robinson. And the Tyson Beck Jackie Robinson is actually the first card I've ever purchased on day 1. I normally purchase everything on day 2. Now, yesterday we spoke about the pre-orders and the print run projections, and I said, look, the pre-orders are rather high for the time we're in, and the print runs seem rather high. I am now bringing those numbers way down, and that reason is the Cal Ripken Jr. by Matt Taylor. Yesterday on the video, I said if I miss that number, it's because the eBay penetration jumps over 2%. My lowest number was 2.05%, but the eBay penetration on Matt Taylor, Cal Ripken, came in at over 2.2. It is on the website right now, which tells us that people are going back to eBay, buying a single copy or a couple copies, but they're also then not buying 5, 10, 15x on the Topps website. So it is good to see that number come back up, but that's also very telling for the Dwight Gooden and the Roberto Clemente Andrew Thiel. So after 48 hours, Dwight Gooden has 130 pre-orders and Roberto Clemente has 166. Yesterday, I had the ranges at 8 to 9K and over 10K on these 2 cards. I'm now bringing them down, so to me right now, the Dwight Gooden is 6.1 to 7.1K. I like that 6K range for this card based on the Matt Taylor performance with the Cal Ripken. And then with the Roberto Clemente Andrew Thiel, I'm over 7,000 with that one, 7.1 to 8.1. I think that one sells a little bit better than the Dwight Gooden, although there is potential that this Dwight Gooden could spike considerably because of the mask and as many people out there who want this card. This card resonates with people in a good way. It resonates with some people in a bad way, so you never know with this card. But I really think Clemente is going to sell more than the Gooden overall. But now taking a look at the first card of the day, and we're going to lead it off with Keith Shore. And I'm going to say thank you, Keith Shore, for the fact that you were the first artist to put out a no-name on-front error of Frank Thomas. I really thought Fucci would do it, but thankfully Keith Shore did it here with this card. It is just great to see. When you think of Keith Shore, this is also kind of like the Dwight Gooden mask. Either you're going to hate it or you're going to love it. This Keith Shore work is polarizing, and I also feel bad for Keith Shore because no matter what artist put out their card that Monday or Tuesday, whatever day the Griffey came out, that artist is going to be synonymous now with the bubble. So look, his Griffey is going to be meme-tastic for many years when it comes to sports cards. But, you know, Keith Shore overall, this is what he does. This is his work. If you don't know him before this, he is a designer for McKellar Beers. I believe that's how you say it. And this is just his style overall. It's funky, it's different, I like it, and that's what's great about Project 2020. But let's take a look at his cards real quick up to this point. So taking a look at Keith Shore's progression to this moment, his first card was Don Mattingly, then Mark McGwire, Bob Gibson, Mariano Rivera, Griffey, Brett, and then Ichiro. He has done both of his Mariner cards, so that is good to see. Now when you look at Frank Thomas and his progression so far, his first card was the Ben Baller number 23, then number 44 with Jacob Rochester, Don C with the AU card, Matt Taylor, Fucci, and then recently with the Natural. So when it comes to which ones are my favorites when you look at Keith Shore and Frank Thomas, his number 1 card, it's not Ichiro and it's not Griffey. Griffey is going to be synonymous forever, but it actually is Mark McGwire because that card to me plays so well with Natural. When you put them together side by side, I just love how drastically opposite they are, and they're just 2 great cards together. So I'm tying in Natural here, but at the same time, I like his Mark McGwire the best. Now, when you look at Frank Thomas, his best card is Natural. I really, really like that card. I like to wait. I just like everything about it. I can't wait to get that in hand here soon. I'd be curious, so in the comments, what is your favorite Keith Shore and Frank Thomas card at the moment? So now let's turn our focus to the market and sort of wrapping up the mini series on the market manipulation. And if this is the first video you've seen of mine, please check out episode 39 and then episode 41. Both of those talk about what has happened up to this point. And it was nothing that I went out to try to solve or figure out sort of in a couple of days. I thought this was a lot bigger of an issue, but it really became a single individual issue. So hopefully laying out this information for you will help you block this individual on eBay, because the last thing we need him to do is do this again with other cards for sale. So a couple of days ago, there was the Mark McGwire F. the Ricky Henderson, Joshua Vides, and then the Willie Mays JK5. And then in episode 41, I talked about the fact that I reached out to the sellers and they had all said that this person had not paid for the cards. And then after the show was posted, both of those sellers, as I mentioned in episode 41, I said, hey, will you let me know who the person is, because I want to see their listings. And sure enough, a couple of them did, and they both sent me the same person. So here is that individual. When you took a look at his store and what he had for sale, shocking. 4 cards for sale: the F. Mark McGwire, the Willie Mays JK5, the Joshua Vides Ricky Henderson, and he also had a Cal Ripken Jacob Rochester. So why did he not try it with the Rochester? Who knows why he was not doing it with the Rochester Ripken, but clear as day, all of those cards ended last night at auction in his store. So why are you going out there making very, very, very high offers on cards you already own? And then last night, after I saw his listings ended, I then saw he relisted all 3 of those cards. He did not relist the Rochester at a one-day auction. So I reached out and said, hey, what are these the same cards? Maybe thinking that he's going to cancel the sales or whatever it is. And he goes, no, I have extras. But he's using the same picture. Now, using the same picture in Project 2020 is not that big of a deal. The question becomes with this individual, if these one-day auctions go higher than the cards yesterday, is he going to cancel these sales? This individual right now, to me, is terrible for Project 2020. And from a buying perspective, we all need to shut him out. In his feedback, and I'll be very, very straightforward here on this feedback, never as an eBay seller should you leave positive, negative feedback on eBay, which is exactly what people have done here. You risk your account being suspended on eBay by doing this. So while it is good we have these comments on here, if the buyer reports the sellers on eBay, the sellers could get suspended. So please don't leave positive, negative feedback. Just let that NPB strike hit that person, because if you have buyer requirements set on your listings, you can then automatically have this person dropped from your listings because he has too many unpaid strikes in a certain time frame. Five positive, negative feedbacks around not paying for items. So if you go back and research what he had for sale at this time, you can almost guarantee yourself he had these cards at the same time for sale to try to pump up the market. So this is a habitual person trying to do this. I was also curious last night. I checked the blowout forums. I go, hey, let me just search up this guy's name and see if there's anything on blowout. He's only on blowout in he's only mentioned 2 other times in these random big long block threads, so with no context, but it is very obvious this person has been blocked for other reasons in the past. What they are, who knows, maybe non-payment. But it is good to see that at least right now the manipulation that happened was just down to one individual, and if we all block him, this will not happen again from his perspective, because he is bad for us in the Project 2020 economy. So now quickly touching on the market overall, the average price point did drop. That chart will be on the website here in a few hours. But when you look at the first and second player pricing, the one thing that stood out to me yesterday was on first player pricing. There was not a lot of movement in the cards yesterday. So there was some green, there was some red, which you can see right here. But for the most part, it was kind of a muted day in the first player pricing. But on the second player pricing, there was some good velocity, more green there, more movement up. So here's an in the thought moment on second player pricing versus first player pricing in the moment we're in right now with increased pricing. If these first player cards get out of control and get out of hand, and I mean that in a positive way, as in the pricing gets too high for the everyday collector, do we start to see more movement on these second player cards? So I know for me personally, like yesterday, I picked up a Sophia Chang Jackie Robinson for $75. I felt that was a really good deal considering everything going on, and I want to complete the Jackie Robinson 20 card chain here. But we will see what happens. But sort of in the moment thought process is maybe these second player cards from a velocity perspective pick up from first player because they are more attainable for the everyday collector. So now let's talk about Mike Trout, the only active player currently in Project 2020 with his iconic 2011 Topps Update card. But when you have Sophia Chang on this card, and by the way, I hope you really checked out her 2-minute video about making the card, her thought process. I thought it was really cool to watch. And it was very short, only 2 minutes. From Sophia Chang and Mike Trout, this is Mike Trout's best card, and this is Sophia Chang's best card. So we're gonna cut to the chase here and make this 1A and 1A for both of these artists, or both of this artist and the player. I think this card is just fantastic. So when you take a look at Sophia Chang's work overall, this is her 8th card up to this moment, and she led us off with Mariano Rivera, Jackie Robinson, Bob Gibson, Ichiro, Willie Mays, Roberto Clemente, Rishin Keterson, otherwise known as Ricky Henderson. But then from a print run perspective, Roberto Clemente is her top card at 12,077, and her second highest printed card is that Willie Mays at 10,480. And then when you look at Mike Trout overall, he's had Ermsey, he's had Andrew Thiel, Ben Baller, Fucci, Jacob Rochester, card 100 with Jameson, and then recently with JK5. I think the question here is, does this card top 25,000? The JK5 did just under 21,000 a few weeks ago. We will find out in a couple of days. So now when you take a look at pre-orders from the cards that got released on Wednesday, my favorite Tyson Beck, Jackie Robinson, and then you had the Old Man Allen, Don Mattingly. The pre-orders were in line with what I thought they'd be. So Jackie Robinson came in at 59, and then Don Mattingly came in at 43. From a print run perspective, I'm looking at Don Mattingly at 4.1 to 5.1. This to me is going to be the lowest print run of the week. And I said it on the show yesterday, this could be the first card we might see touch under 4,000. I think that's a stretch right now. There are still a lot of people out there buying these cards, but we will find out tomorrow. But right now, to me, 4.1, 4.5 is where we're going to see that card at the end of the day. And then on the Jackie Robinson, he is going to perform very similar to the Doc Gooden from F. that's going to get announced here probably after this video or before this video post. We will find out, but I like 6,000 to 7,000 on this Jackie Robinson. If you like this video and you want more Week 15 Project 2020 news, please check out that playlist on the screen right now.